Yo, mic check, 1, 2. What is this? You're now tuned into Imperfect Sense right here on UnifiedRadio.tv. Our wonderful hosts, wonderful moderators, wonderful opinionated brothers that make up this podcast called Imperfect Sense. I go by the name of Eric E. Mr. Dawson, whatever it is you call me. I beg you, please do not call me a midget. And to the left of me, got the bully with me, Conway, you dig? Conway's in the building. To the right of me, I got the homie Andy's in the building.
What's up,
Uncle Drew, they call him Uncle Drew.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Flesh. Flesh isn't with us today. He was a little, he got his tail hit.
Somebody pulled up to his bumper, baby. Pause.
Somebody pulled up. Somebody pulled up to that bumper, baby.
That's classic. Great Jones. Bumper, baby. That was a hit.
Somebody pulled up to that bumper and tapped that ass, man. He got that ass tapped early this morning.
Knocked a tooth out his chopper.
Hell yeah, he got that ass tapped. And it's no pause on. There's no pause on the ass tap.
Shit. Creeping the street.
And a little homie, cat creeping.
Yo!
Not the usher.
Yo, but shout out to Flesh. He was in a little fender bender first thing this morning. He all right, so we can joke about it. You dig? He's all right, so we can joke about it. Yo, but if this is your first time, man, as you can see, we cutting up early. If this is your first time viewing, listening, tuning into the Imperfect Sense Podcast, I'm going to tell you a little bit about ourselves before we get started, man. We are four opinionated brothers. We talk about everybody, all walks of life.
Yes, sir.
You do things in the public, we're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. It's nobody's off limits, so I'm going to tell you right now, we do not subscribe to cancel culture. So if you're sensitive about your race, religion, gender, sexuality, this is not the pod for you. If you continue to look, you can continue to listen. Do you subscribing to the bullshit? And we love to kick out the bullshit. So we're going to get this shit started. How we feeling, fellas?
We're feeling fine.
Feeling great. Everybody's
good,
hype.
man.
Everybody Thanksgiving was okay?
Yeah, man. It was lit.
Do y'all celebrate Thanksgiving? Because I know some of us got
Oh, yeah. I celebrate Steelers Day.
Yeah, it's definitely a massacre, know.
Yeah. I'm just appreciative to see family that I haven't seen in a while.
That's the thing. Maybe we need to rename it to family and friends gathering instead of Thanksgiving. Because I don't really fuck with the whole Thanksgiving aspect of it either. Like, that shit was built on something fucked up.
Let's just call it for what it is. It's macaroni and cheese day.
Mac and cheese, cheese
day.
Cheese and mac. Dry ass turkey, because everybody keep talking about they can make a juicy turkey. I ain't had a juicy turkey yet. Pause. You know what I'm saying? It's no such thing as a juicy turkey.
A juicy bird.
There's no such thing as a juicy turkey, man. It's not fucking lunch meat. Like, you pull that shit out the oven, you need gravy. I ain't seen a motherfucker eat the turkey without the gravy yet. Like, this is so good. Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
The motherfuckers that fry that turkey be like, yo, my shit still be. No, it do not.
It's just dry, yo.
Moist where, bitch?
When it comes fresh out the grease, that shit moist. Just like when the shit come fresh out the oven, it got a little perspiration on it. You know what I mean? But other than that, once you reheat that shit dry. Like a choker sandwich, man. On the real, yo. Fuck Thanksgiving.
Needed.
Eat that shit.
Gravy's needed.
Gravy, man. Gravy always the first thing to run out. Why gravy always the first thing to run out if the bird's so juicy?
No, because you always got that uncle that be going ahead and put gravy on everything.
I'm that uncle.
Gravy
on the mac.
Yeah, like potatoes. Gravy on everything. Like, what the fuck you need the gravy for?
When they say hot sauce, I can't do this on everything.
Yeah,
that motherfucker gravy, bro.
But check it out, man. Look, we're going to turn up today. We're going to have a good time. Talk about some real shit. I'm going to kick it off like this. Last week, man, I was out at the casino. Everybody know I'm not a gambler, right? But I was out there, doing my 1-2 thing. I was out there in a little parlay, had a couple drinks, a little friend,
You know what I was going to say? You been on hooker.
Like I was out there selling ass in the casino.
I was down there selling ass.
Down there selling ass. But
he was down there with a friend, okay.
Yeah, I'm down there, had a little at the dinner, had a little walk through and had some drinks in the casino. Nothing wrong with that. Down there vibing, having a good time, good mood. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I'm not a gambler, it made me step back a little bit, and I'm looking at the people, right? As people gambling, people zone the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
It looked like The Walking Dead in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm looking like, yo, I'm seeing grandparents down there. I'm seeing fathers. I'm seeing mothers. I'm seeing people risk it all.
Absolutely.
Down that motherfucker for was could consider to be a real addiction that they don't know that they're addicted to. And
Addiction.
the horrible thing about it is that we deal with so much addiction in the world that we don't know about outside of the substance, outside of the drugs, outside of the alcohol. It's a lot of addictions that we are part of that we don't know nothing about. Like one of my addictions, I'm gonna tell you right now. I grab my phone when I first wake up.
I thought you was gonna say something.
Oh, what you thought I was gonna say? Addicted to what?
Oh man, they'll try to call you greasy palm.
Like I'm out here on a fentanyl tip, man. Like
Pee Wee Herman out this bitch.
But that's one of my addictions.
That Pee Wee Herman?
So I'm gonna turn the conversation over to you.
Okay.
Because he on some other shit. But looking at these people turn into zombies, and I'm looking around like, yo, where's their help at? Like, how am I sitting back? No, do you think they family noticed? Like, matter of fact, what is one of your addictions that you think you have that nobody notices?
Shit, food. I like food. I like eating.
Oh, okay. But you've been eating more healthy though.
I've been trying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but food with FDA, Food and Drug Administration, it's all a habit, right?
You think?
I mean, it's associated with food and drugs, right? Food and Drugs Administration.
I do. Okay, you trying to
Lemon
metaphorically
peppers.
break
Lemon pepper is a drug.
What about you? What you think one of your addictions are? Electronic, yeah. But I think that's a passion, not an addiction. Because you're not putting your family at harm's risk for electronics. You like them. Yeah. You research them. Mm-hmm. You're not risking it all. And my thing is like...
well, he had to think about like, am I?
You're not risking it all. Same thing with you saying your addiction is food.
Mm-hmm.
You're not risking it all.
Right.
Even me saying my addiction to grabbing my phone, maybe it's more or less just a habit. Every time, as soon as I open my eyes, I'm like, because I'm too afraid that I missed something because I was asleep.
Well, I mean, it is a search engine, you know. So I mean, you can get everything from your phone, like news and read up on politics and stuff like that, or you just want to go and check some other stuff out.
But let me ask y'all a off the wall question. Mm-hmm. Are black people addicted to struggling?
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. That's funny, but they are.
Are we because I'm looking at it on the grand scheme of things, and I had to throw y'all for a loop because anytime we do this pod, we always bring it back to us. Mm-hmm. In our culture, because we have to, because of what we represent as men. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when I look at our culture and I'm looking at all the resources that are available, the search engines that you brought up that I didn't even have to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The passions that you're into that you research on your own. It all is in correlation of, for me, looking at our culture, like we just addicted to struggling. It's almost like we like it because the tools are there, the knowledge is there for us not to be fucked up, but we choose not to.
Wow. So you're saying we're able to function behind the 8 ball.
You're able to function, and it's like you're almost born into this addiction.
Wow. I never thought about
in your community because people keep saying, well, you don't have this and everybody else has that. And you keep believing that shit every day. Like, bro, everybody out here has a fucking phone.
Right.
The information is in your hands.
Right.
Why can't you get right?
Right.
And I know everybody's path is different. I understand that. Everybody's path is different. What happens for you fast may not happen for me, and vice versa. Same with you. The way it happened for you may not happen for me.
Right.
But you can get there.
Right.
But you choose not to because you're addicted to telling people about your fucking struggle. It's a sickness.
It is. No.
And you're addicted to the street bullshit of taking another man's life because that's what you're used to. It's an addiction here.
Now that you put it like that, it is. It definitely is, because if you look at it, success stories, like even when it comes to rap, rap is not looked at or praised over struggle bars. Like struggle stories. Like I could come to a group of people and be like, yeah, I'm from this neighborhood, but because my mother or whatever, I never had to struggle. So I had a clear path. By their blind, teach that to your kids. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers gonna be like, fuck is this goofy? But if I go to that same people and be like, yo, fuck, man, like, I come from this shit. Like, I did XYZ to get on top of XYZ to get on top of XYZ, so that way I wouldn't have to look on my back.
I agree, because you know what it is?
The niggas love it.
For all of us in this room, we didn't have silver spoons. We had good days. We had bad days.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to shit on the efforts of the people that raised me, saying that I came from nothing. That's bullshit.
Right.
Because my nothing was something to them because they made a way. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I hate that terminology.
Right.
Because especially with these rappers, I come from nothing. I come from, yo, you ever think about what you saying, how to make your mother or your father or whoever raised you feel like, damn, what you mean you came from nothing?
Right.
I gave you my all. It may not be of all of what you wanted.
Right.
But it ain't as bad as you could have been if you was living somewhere fucking else.
Right.
You had a roof over your head. Yeah, you may have roaches. You may have had hungry nights, but you didn't go starving.
Right.
There's some people that ain't eaten weeks. Some people that have water in weeks that are no longer here.
Right.
So when they start throwing terms around like that, I think it's like subconsciously they feel like it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to say to make people feel them. And I don't feel you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I had to sit back and assess the situation of what people be saying. And to allude to what you were saying, it's like everybody in this room, we strive for better. So let's say the generation after us, we busted our tails and they have to want for nothing like we did. Right? Their same generation that don't have the tangible things that we were able to provide would think that they were fucking sellouts, or that they were not as real as they would be if they struggle. Right. Which I think is a cop-out, because it's like you all strive to be better. So when you see somebody like, perfect example, Will Smith and Jada came from the hood. And we got to use them because they just hot in the news every fucking day because of her mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know you feel some type of way about it.
Yeah,
But let's take his children.
Their
children. From birth, they've been privileged.
Right.
But it's people that'll look at their children and say, you don't know what the fuck it is to be black. You don't know what the fuck it is to struggle. How do you know that?
Right.
Because they have money? Is that the only way we equating us being worthy in this world is by the fucking dollar amount?
Not only that.
And I'm talking about our culture. I'm not speaking for
the
Caucasus Mountains. I'm not speaking from Asian community, Native American, whoever other culture. Right. I'm talking about black and brown.
Right.
Not just the money. It has a lot to do with where that child was raised. Because, like for my kids, you know, two out of the 4 were raised in the county, and the other 2 was raised in the hood. And though my oldest that was raised in the county, motherfuckers be like, he, like his own family, like friends and family, be like, he different, he got a good life.
Because they don't think he's authentic, because he's not subscribing to nigger culture.
Yeah. And then it's like, you know, Brooke grew up in White Marsh, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She just now been in tune to city life, and it's like, it's a culture shock for her because of the shit that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it is, like, even in school, because she'll tell a person, like, she told me one day, she told one of our friends, like, I used to live in the county, And they one of her friends was like, "Oh, so you don't know what I had to go through?" Mm-hmm. Like, bitch, her father had went through it enough. Mm-hmm. And because she lived in the county, don't mean the motherfucker wasn't struggling. You heard?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just that at that time, we think that I did what niggas do. I think moving to the county was going to suppress what my kids from what I grew up in. But it did nothing but made me work harder to keep living there. Mm-hmm. To where now I'm like, fuck it, let me move back to the city. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, no matter where you live, as a black person, you're still going to be categorized as a nigga, bro.
Yeah, facts.
So it was like, for me, a lot of people, and that shit crazy that you brought that up, because a lot of people equate from the hood, oh, you lived in the hood, so you went through something. And that motherfucking mother, father, whoever he lived with, can have a very good fucking job, and they have to want for nothing. Mm-hmm. They just live on the street that's in the hood.
That we fuck up.
That we
it's accountability.
Then we run
the
into the
addiction of us blaming other people. The hood is the hood because we make it the hood.
Right.
We weren't even supposed to stay here.
The word ghetto does not mean black.
No, it doesn't.
That's what people don't understand. The word ghetto, the Webster's Dictionary meaning of ghetto is a place where a lot of people of the same nationality live in the same neighborhood. That's all it is.
That's because the Jews was there first.
Jews is Jewish ghettos.
I'm just saying, like,
it's Asian ghettos.
A lot of the hood and the housing projects came because the Jews came over here at all that bullshit, and we took it over. And
even with being in let's say public housing, okay, right? Mm-hmm. Let's take public housing. Public housing doesn't mean that you have to live impoverished,
right?
Because I know somebody that had public housing apartment. You walk in her apartment, look like fucking Taj Mahal. Mm-hmm. Everything smelled great. It was kept clean. Mm-hmm. Things were in order. She was organized, and she was raising her children there. And they did not feel like they were living in public housing because she did not provide that environment. Just because you live in a certain environment doesn't mean that you have to act a certain way. It doesn't mean you have to be ignorant to your own. You get what I'm saying? Like, right. I live in public housing, so that means I'm going to throw trash and shit all over the floor. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to throw trash out the window. I'm going to leave shit messed up. And it's a mindset, bro. Right. People are addicted to the bullshit.
I think it was a culture shock when we started first going up to New York. And he was like, yeah, this is the projects. And I'm looking, I'm like, it's spotless out this bitch. Like, it literally, I was like, wow.
My aunt lived in the same. She lived in the same project apartment building since 1974, maybe until her untimely demise last year. You walk into her apartment, it's immaculate, but it's a difference in the cities because a lot of New York public housing and project buildings are so common for everybody because of the population. Right. You know what I'm saying? But they don't treat it as that. I'm not saying that it never was like that. I mean, back in like the 80s, yeah, you had the crackheads outside, the dirty shit, and then you had pissy elevators. And that comes with anything. Right. But it comes changed where people start saying, hey, yo, I ain't living like that. Just because I live here don't mean that I got to live like a fucking bum.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I don't think it's enough accountability. And I think we just so used to that mindset of, oh my God, this is the way it is. It's the way it's always been, and we can't change it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
This addiction level is on a broader scale, more than just substance. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like,
right.
We are addicted to a lot of shit that we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's just a fact. But yo, let me ask y'all this. Y'all seen that new Kevin Hart?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
Hell yeah.
Without giving away the story, right? First of all, these shout out to these black creators that are coming out with this content, right?
Okay.
The Harder They Fall was really great.
Very great.
Really good. Kevin Hart's new series, really good. People look at it for just what it was. I'm looking at it everything on a deeper level. Something clicked in my brain to really sit back and overanalyze things. Let's take the Harder They Fall.
Right.
It was a direct correlation to the street in that movie.
It was.
People seen it as just a Western. But if you sit back and look at the story.
Man said the blam blams.
Yeah, man said I'm quick with the blam blams, right? If you look at the story for what they really said, the story kicks off with a dude coming back to find a father that abandoned him.
Absolutely.
This is still prevalent, right?
Right now, yeah.
That boy became a man who couldn't deal with his emotions of his father leaving.
Right.
And the way that his father left.
Right.
What made him have to grow up earlier.
Right.
That's still happening today.
Absolutely.
He then found his father with a whole new family.
Right.
That still happens.
Right.
Got fathers walking out on their children to go make a new life for somebody else and forget the original family that they started.
Right.
Not giving a fuck. He finds him. That man kills his father and a new wife and then marks his brother because he knew he would meet him again.
Right.
That shit is a direct correlation of what we still going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no real
A
shit.
dude has to grow up early, be a man. He grew up with this anger and this emotion. Start killing people. What's the fuck we dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when people start talking about the shit about, politicians ain't doing this for us, politicians ain't doing this for that, like, that shit started home, dog.
It absolutely does. You know.
And I don't think people saw the movie for what it was.
Shit, it was a lot of Easter eggs in that movie, man.
Yeah. Definitely
and
a lot.
Hurt people.
Yo, you're absolutely fucking correct about that shit. Hurt people for real.
And the funny part about that shit, though, is a book about it called The Black Indians. And the same shit that is going on in there happens in the book. That's a true story, though.
Yeah.
Their names, there's the same names that's in the movie is in the book. So I just
every character,
every
character in the movie was a real person.
Yeah,
it's just the story was fictitious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it relates.
You know what I'm saying?
And it relates to us. And
I hate it. We always say this fictitious shit, but some of this shit is real, bro.
I mean, you gotta pull it from a real place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to pull a story from a real place, and the fact that I know for a fact people didn't view it like I just said it. So hopefully after they listen to this pod, they go back and look at it like, wait a minute, like he hit on something. Because what I just said is what directly happened in that movie, which we seeing every day. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that right there, that lifestyle, the way that we come up.
That generational curse.
Yo.
It's real.
It's bad, bruh.
It's real.
That shit is crazy.
And it just, the whole, that movie is ill, man. Because he looked up at it and said, he got all the way to this point. He said he finally got him in his sight. And he ready, be vengeful, just like his older brother was vengeful. He's like, yeah, you a buck.
You
said,
just like me.
Said, your daddy, that little preacher, before he was a preacher, I'm going to tell you who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
He killed my mama and left me for dead. And you're a buck, just like I'm a buck. And he was like, no. It was like, God damn, bro.
And the fact that I just told you you're my brother. You still can't get that anger out your heart. You still killing me.
You still killing me.
He accepted he knew it. We killing our brothers, man. Like, yo, how the fuck people don't see this, bruh? It was, in that movie, and I don't want to make this like we ain't fucking Siskel and Ebert in this motherfucker, but we got this shit relates to us.
Technically, we should be.
But we could. You know what I'm saying? But it was even a part in the movie that even though he morally done it wrong, he built a town.
Yeah.
Called Redwood.
Yep.
For the people.
For the people.
Came back to the people like, yo, I was locked up. I built this town, but I don't own land. In order for me to own the land, it's going to cost us $50,000, and I have to tax your ass for us to keep it.
Yeah.
And they was like, nah. That shit's still happening today.
It is, yep.
Motherfucker telling you like, yo, we can be black owned, bruh. And the motherfucker will sit up there and bring up your past and not look at the fucker. If you're like, oh no, he went to jail, he going back. That's the same shit we dealing with.
Yeah.
Same shit we're doing now.
And he said, okay. And then listen, he came and said, what's your name? Name James. I said, okay, James. You ain't gonna allow me to be great?
Yeah, because he said, I'm recognizing you're an enemy right now.
Now.
You know what I'm saying? Because we over here building something like, and people that went, yo, I just know everything in that movie went over people's heads.
Right.
You just sit up there and you see Idris Elba, the women like him, and then the fellas, we looking at Regina King because she fine in the motherfucker, and then what's the other chick I like? Zaza.
Yeah,
she
she
bad as a
bad, she
motherfucker.
bad.
Like
Zaza.
so we just looking at the aesthetics of the movie.
Right.
We seeing the jokes that they telling, but it's so much of a deeper story.
Right.
That's still a direct thing that we dealing with today.
Absolutely.
They gave you the gems, man. Like they gave it to you.
Yeah, look at that whole shit. Like the whole movie. Well, especially the shooting the brother part, and then motherfucker trying to do shit in the hood, and motherfucker stopping him, and then he had to come back. That shit resonate the whole like he didn't the director of the fucking movie. Like shooting your brother. Motherfuckers that first told you couldn't have shit in Brooklyn. You had to go and get this white boy. Then now you brought shit to Brooklyn. Like, shit's like it's
a motherfucker was an outlaw, but he had the right intentions.
Yeah.
He just had the wrong method of doing it. He had the right like, yo, I'm building this for us so we can all own this shit.
It's kind of like
because
the Robin Hood theory.
Motherfucker, we ain't slaves no more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And people wasn't getting it, and I just think that shit just went over people's heads. But not to take the story away because I know Andy hasn't seen it yet, but you've seen it.
Yeah.
The new Kevin Hart joint.
Ben's watched that bitch.
Probably the best thing he's ever done.
Wow.
And I'm a big Kevin Hart fan. Big Kevin Hart supporter.
Check it out.
But this movie had a lot of addiction bases in this motherfucking movie. The addiction to fame, the addiction to money, and what people are willing to do to obtain the shit.
And
like
addiction to family.
What you just say?
Addiction to family.
Addiction to family. That's what I was going to get into. Jump into addiction to family. Break that down for me real quick. What you feel as though addiction to family means.
So basically, like, no matter how much your family can fuck up, you can see it. Your friends around you telling you, like, you put your neck out on the line for this person so much, you're going to keep doing it because because they're your family. You don't never really want to see them in a fucked up place. And you just keep fucking pouring your heart out.
Something you going through right now yourself. I keep trying to tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you starting to back away from it a little bit.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay. Nobody business out.
Okay, because I know Kevin Hart is in there. I know Wesley Snipes is in there. What's their correlation with each other?
They brothers.
So, okay. So is Kevin Hart, is he the younger brother, right?
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it.
It was written very. It's eerie because it felt so real.
Yeah, and that's the whole. After we finished watching that shit, yo, I just looked at my lady like, man, that shit felt like it could have been a real story. And she like, yo, this shit felt like that was some real shit, and like we don't know how
the writers of that was a bunch.
But we don't know
writers of it was a bunch of black women too.
But we don't know how motherfucker really came up to get weed. Yeah, man. We don't know a lot of shit because a lot of shit, like the way that shit was kept on, man. That's some. I don't want to tell them, but I related to a lot of that shit.
Right. I got kind of idea now.
I related to a lot.
You
of
kind of got
that,
the, but you until you see it.
Yeah.
Until you see it.
Well, let me just say, if he feel like he owes his older brother.
Something like it's something. It's way deeper.
It's way deeper. Okay.
It's way deeper. But shout out to the sisters that wrote this. because it was some sisters that wrote it. Shout out to them. I seen Kevin Hart post them, and because I didn't know who wrote it. Shout out to him for letting the world know that some black women wrote this story. It was well put together.
It touched the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, because like I said, like I've been in Kevin's shoes in that movie, bro. A lot of times, and not being a younger. It's just the older trying to make sure that the younger never had to go through what I went through.
Yeah, it's the ills of it, man.
Or the scares of never being able to see.
Because it's like
your life
fruition. We grow. We. The fact that we came up humble. I'm not gonna say I gotta stop. We gotta stop using that shit coming from nothing. We came up a little humble, and more than other people, more than maybe that we wanted to.
Yeah.
We grow up with this guilt that if I make a little something, I feel bad if I can't give it to everybody too.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's like if you come up and you get a good job, you know what I'm saying, and the rest of your family ain't, you start feeling obligated. Like I pay for this, I pay for that because I got it and y'all don't. You start having this guilt. Then people start asking you for things and you feel guilty because y'all come from the same place and they haven't reached where you reached yet, and you give them more than what you should give them.
Right.
And then they're so addicted to knowing that you feel guilty, they'll keep coming back and back and back because they feel entitled. Right. And that entitlement shit becomes an addiction.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying? That shit is horrible.
It's because they know that you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure they good. You're going to fucking, like, and then it's become an addiction to them because they know that you're going to always get them out of this situation.
Yeah.
So now the addiction is I could fuck up anything I want, like a drug. I could fuck up everything. And this rehab gonna get me out. This judge gonna say go to rehab. You know what I mean? My family member gonna be like, you can come with me, trying to get you right. There's addiction to knowing that someone's gonna always fucking be there.
I didn't think about it like that, and I'm glad you said that. So you saying, when you're addicted to something, the addiction continues because there's no consequence after it.
Correct.
Damn.
Correct.
But
damn, I didn't even think about it like that.
That's real shit. It's a lot.
Damn.
It's a lot of sons that's out there that's basically saving their mother from the bowels of hell because they're fucked up with their addictions. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck me up.
How many dudes do we know? Shit, how many dudes we know within our age range that's taking care of their mothers? Not taking care of their mothers because they're ill or something like. No, because they have a fucking addiction. Like they out there. They out there in the world, and they said, "Damn, man. All right, man, I'm going to throw this life preserver to my mom. Hopefully I can save her this time." And they do it. It's like the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, like, at the end of the day, yo, it's like you'll die before they'll die.
Because you're stressing yourself out.
You stress yourself out.
Yeah.
You'll put yourself in positions where you got to owe back 50 people just to help them out, to keep them from being either murdered, fucking beat halfway to death. You know what I mean?
Lock the fuck up.
The fuck, yeah.
Right.
And it's like that shit is a raw ass addiction that no one speaks about. What they'll say is like mental health and all that shit. Like, yeah, but it's really a fucking
people starting to cop a deuce with that mental health shit.
It's really a fucking addiction to be the person everybody runs to. I mean, it's an addiction because they know that your heart, like, in order for addiction to actually go through, your body got to accept it. And if you already come into a position that your heart is already good, the addiction is already going to start growing. That shit like a cancer, bro. Right. And that's why I ain't gonna lie, like when I was watching that shit hit me real hard. Like that shit hit me because there's been times where
you put yourself on the line,
I put myself on the line that I probably wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
I either be probably like, and it's not even no exaggeration, like I probably would have been dead right now, or locked up for a very long time because you got to do whatever it takes to make sure that motherfucker can live.
Yeah, and I relate to that shit too, man, because, you know, outside of getting in direct trouble, dealing with somebody else's shit, that you got to constantly keep helping because you feeling, you know, like you got to be that one. Like, man, I've been sued 3 fucking times. With motherfucker hit my finances and the motherfucker I helped ain't even reach back out to help me get level. I just took the hit for that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of times that shit happens and you just kind of brush the shit underneath the rug because you start equating taking on that struggle for a person because you love them so much and you're able to deal with it, you know what I mean? Because you're in a better maybe mental, physical, or financial position to deal with it versus them. But really, it ain't your shit. And that shit do drive you to an early fucking grave. And once I realized what it was, I backed the fuck off.
Absolutely.
Ain't no better love than tough love.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real shit.
Even when it comes to physical and substance addiction, ain't no better love than tough love. Motherfucker, I need that hit. Yo, I need that hit. Nah, stay in that room and go cold turkey. I hear you screaming. I hear you crying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see you in pain, but guess what? I love you enough to, you know, I'll sit here with you until you go through that shit.
Yeah.
That tough love, that's what you got to do.
Got to.
On God, man. But I need you to see that Kevin Hart, Andy.
I got you.
You gotta see that shit.
I need you to see that.
You gotta see that shit because it come from
OJ.
I don't know about other cultures, but that shit come from a black family, like, point of view of having to be the one to always be there, and then the one that you always there for feel as though that you, like, to be jealous of your success. That shit is real, yo. Like, motherfuckers, like, it's only our, because I only know about us, but it seems like this shit happens more in our culture. Like,
the motherfuckers you would give anything for jealous of you.
To be jealous of you because they can't do it. And when you be like, yo, I can't do that no more, it's like you just spit in that face almost. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
because you could say yes a million times. They just remember the one no.
Yeah.
They don't remember the million yeses. You yes. The one time you say no, you ain't shit.
You gotta watch it.
I can't depend on you for nothing. I said no one time.
You gotta watch it, yo.
I'm gonna check.
I ain't gonna lie, yo. That shit hurt. I ain't even gonna lie. I feel that shit hit me now talking about it.
Yeah.
Cause when I sit there, like, yo, dude be telling me like, yo, like, you gotta fucking relax. But it's that addiction of not seeing someone you love go down a drain. You'll do whatever it takes. But that's where it comes. That's where the addiction again is so fucked up because the rest of your responsibilities become clouded, bro. You forget, yo, he got a son. Kevin had a son, and like that was always talking to him. You feel me? Like that shit clouds because you gotta fucking now. You start getting moody. That shit real, yo.
Definitely real.
That shit real.
And it shows, and it also shows a lot when we go through where one impulse decision can change the rest of your life.
And any motherfucker that
one
say
impulse
that shit, anybody who's saying that you can't, this movie ain't this movie ain't that.
It's just a hater that wish they did it.
They wish they did it. Or just trying to be a fucking person that's just trying to go for a shot value. Yeah, that's some corny shit because that's some real shit we go through regularly.
Yeah, it's
I don't
always
give
a
a fuck if
motherfucker
you
that
say
do
it's
that shit.
predictable, which it wasn't. Because that shit fucked me up.
It wasn't predictable. It wasn't predictable. You kind of had an idea, but it wasn't predictable.
Yeah, you had an idea because I didn't. I can't say you wasn't even.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it for him, even though he be spoiling shit for us all the time. To come on, like, yo, that shit was hot. Did you see this scene?
Oh,
did you see that? Like, no, we didn't.
Like the whole Marvel shit. I wasn't gonna watch it. But did you see Thor and Thanos? I'm like, damn.
No, y'all joke my shit. No, it's not you. It's him. It's him.
I don't care for this shit.
This shit's coin.
I don't care.
Only thing, like, he like Black Panther.
That's what I did.
Thank you.
I'm saying Wakanda forever. All the other shit, I just don't. I don't. It's just not my thing. Like, I ain't grow up like that. Like, that's part of my humble beginnings. I ain't have a chance to get into like comic book characters and all this other shit. I do hope they do a Thundercats though.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That was my shit. I hope they do.
I hope somebody find a way to do Thundercats.
No, they said it's supposed to be really. They supposed to really.
They do Thundercats. I'm in there. But I can't get into this Ant-Man, Iron Man, and all this other shit.
Was the bros.
I could do Batman pause a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I could do a little bit of Batman. I could do a little bit of Superman. I can't get into all. I can't get into the. I can't get into that. It's not my thing, man. I'm still sex, money, murder. Like, that's still type movies I like. Sex, money, murder. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing.
Like, I couldn't, like, I don't know. I don't know. I was outside. I know Andy was outside, but Andy just is like, all right, when I go in the house, I'm watching this shit. But I'm just saying, though, like, that wasn't me. Yo. Like, I ain't gonna lie, yo, shit, like, I'm happy that's coming back on, like, Nash Bridges. Like, motherfuckers, I watch murder shit.
Like, it's certain things that we grew up on that I just, like, people still are into. Like, some people, like, I was never into wrestling, dog. Like, all I knew was Hulk Hogan. I don't know none of that shit. Like, yo, remember Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, and all them did this? I'm like, nah, dog.
See,
I'm sorry, I was watching a lot of music videos. I was watching Purple Rain and shit. Like, that's what I was into. Like, I thought I was Prince out here.
His ass
I was already with the ass out.
Have his ass out. But see, now, the wrestling for me came from, my mother was a big wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, that shit, in New York, that shit is a thing, nigga. Mm-hmm. Like, New York, that shit is, it's like you thought that shit
wrestling and kung fu movies is big in New York.
Yeah, that shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's real big. And that's real
going
big
to the garden and see two men script the fucking wrestling. Now you know what script is, like, shit crazy.
Yeah, that's a fact. But yo, let's get up out of here. Let's tighten this shit up. Andy, give these people your final thoughts right here, man. These people being addicted out here. And social media is addiction too. Just to throw that out there, because there's some people that be doing like some Funds Unlimited shit that just post shit that just don't equate to who they are. Like,
motherfuckers have parties every week
and don't never show up. Like, some people are addicted to being phony on the internet. Like, you know what I'm saying, and trying to make careers. How you make a career? Hold up, before you get to your final thought, how you make a career out of trying to be phony? Like, how can you think you're gonna get some real shit when you ain't real in the beginning?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but whatever. We'll get in that. You know, let the people know, Andy.
This is what I would say. And what I'm trying to go through my transition, trying to figure out to.
You mean transition? What you mean? Like, are you?
Stop. See, you got me.
I knew it was.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm trying to substitute a bad addiction with something good.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to wing away from taking in the bad shit, taking more good shit, and trying to implement exercise.
No, he just did the like choice of words.
I know how it's going to sound. I don't give a shit. But what I'm saying is this. You know, I can't be eating all the, you know, the fast food.
You gotta eat that ass, boy. Eat that ass.
And, you know, start putting more green into my diet.
Okay. We'll let you
so that's what I'm saying. So whatever vices you have, try to find something good and positive.
Agreed.
To implement, you know.
Agreed.
You know what I mean. There you go.
Go ahead, Conway. Give these people your final thoughts, man.
Go left, my guy. Man, all I'm gonna say is identify the addiction that you have.
Absolutely.
Realize that it is an addiction, and work on it, because every addiction comes with a consequence. And if you're going to keep blaming other things because of your addiction, you're never going to get better, never going to get right. So identify and then solve. That's all I got to say.
In fact, and I'm going to piggyback off both of them. Definitely identify your addictions and try to substitute them with more positive vices. Like, I agree with Andy as well. But also, don't be afraid to sit down with the ones you love and around and say, hey, I see that you have a problem over here, or you're too into this over here that's leading you down the wrong way. You got to communicate with friends and family, because people be addicted to shit that's just leading them down the wrong path. You giving them
bitches.
Shit like that. And usually it becomes a problem late. We could have, fixed the problem early, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's social media. Sometimes you got to tell your friends, hey, man, stay about that shit for a few days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Take a break. You know what I mean? Just recognize it, man, and then try to find a solution to do something better, man. And this has been another edition of Imperfect Sense right here on UnifiedRadio.tv. I'm Eric. That's Conway. That's Andy. Shout out to Flesh. Rest up, brother.
Yeah.
From being rear-ended.
He gotta get a backyard of me.
Gotta get it back out of me.
And we see y'all the same time, same Unified
You're on the
channel
bed with a heat pack
next
on his
week.
back.
Peace.